It's more of an authentic recipe. It's one I've been working on for a new book, and it's so far I've been quite happy with the results. So what I've done, because it does take quite a while to cook, is I've already made one. And so if you go over here, Caroline, to the, I'll show everyone what I've done there.
Right, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
so what I've done is I've encased this with dough, just regular dough. I just mixed some flour. We're not eating it. It's just something to help get the lid to stick on. And I put that on a very low heat. Now what I did to begin with is I kept that on a very high heat. If we can go over to the other camera now. Had it on a very high heat for 5 minutes. And now I've got it on, I've had it over on that low heat for about 10 minutes already. We got another 15 minutes to go until that one's ready. Just kind of wanted you to see what it looked like when it's finished. But we're also going to go ahead and make another one. So we've got 2 huge biryanis that we're making tonight. Each one serves about 6 to 8 people, depending on how hungry you are. So I'm going to have the first one, and Caroline's going to have the second, since we're not allowed to have anyone over. And actually, we're very lucky to have some nice neighbors who have agreed to eat them for us tonight. So we're going to put them out, and they can take them away.
It's very good of them, really.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start up another biryani now. And what you're going to see when I make this is it's very very liquidy. So a lot of times biryanis, especially Dum Biryanis, aren't that liquidy. They use a little bit of yogurt, and there's a little bit of moisture in the pan. But we're going to be putting a lot of moisture in the pan because I like them to be very nice and just they're moist. It all goes into the rice, and it turns out spectacular. So I'm going to go ahead and put about, if you can go over to this camera now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and put about 3 tablespoons of oil in there. And to that, I'm going to add 1 star anise. I got a couple pieces of cinnamon there. I've got a teaspoon of cumin seeds and a teaspoon of black peppercorns and about 4 cardamom pods. So I'm going to go ahead, put those in there. And just mix those around in the oil. I want those to infuse into the oil as soon as the pan gets hot. But you don't have to wait for the pan to get hot. Just you'll see it bubbling and stuff, so you'll know it's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move those around in there. And really all we're doing is we're infusing this into the oil before we add the garlic and ginger paste. Now the garlic and ginger paste I've got is a special one I've made. So it's green. It's garlic, ginger, and chili paste. So what I've done is I've used equal amounts of garlic and ginger, and then I threw in about 4 green bird's eye chilies, just to give it a little bit of spice. Even though we're adding quite a lot of spice to this, it's not a spicy biryani because you have all that rice in there. So I'm gonna put 1, 2, about 3 tablespoons of garlic, ginger, and chili paste into that pan. And I'm just moving that around in there for about 30 seconds just to cook off the rawness. And then I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of Kashmiri chili powder, about a teaspoon of coriander, so ground coriander, and a 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric. Let's give that a nice stir there. And then to that, I'm going to add, these are just tinned tomatoes, so 400 grams tinned tomatoes there. I'll give that a nice stir. And to that, just let that come to a bubble there. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. We'll add some more later to taste, but I'm just going to add a little bit there now. And then I've got some chopped onions here, which I deep fried until they're just a nice dark golden brown. I'm going to put about half of those in there. I used 3 onions, so if I've got the recipe all written down for you. But I got 3 onions, which I just fried right down until they caramelized and became really nice and sticky. I'm going to add some of that in there as well. Stir that right in. And then I've got about 150 grams of yogurt, which I'm just going to add a little bit at a time. Stir that in there. This is a real party dish, so when we're allowed to have parties again, we'll probably be making these. Because it's really, once you get it in the pan, the heat does all the job for you, all the work for you. You can just sit there, put it on your barbecue or whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's looking really nice now. I'm going to bring that to a nice simmer. And what I want to add to this now, I got 2 potatoes, which I cubed. Stir those right down in there. And I wonder if we're being heard on Curry Chit Chat tonight, do you know?
I'm not sure actually, I don't know yet.
All right. We are having trouble getting it to go into the
It's
group.
on Facebook, we're not sure that Curry Chit Chat's picking it up again.
I hope it is. Anyway, so we got those potatoes, and I want to cook those about 50% cooked. So I want them just to be kind of soft, but still harder than you'd want to eat. To this, I'm going to add some chicken stock, and I just made this because I took a whole chicken, and I cut it into pieces, and the bones I had left, like the backbone and the ends to the legs and the neck, I made a
saying,
stock.
are you on medium heat? It's kind of medium.
This is kind of a medium heat, yeah. This isn't a full heat. But it is, so I've got, as you can see, quite a lot of liquid in there now. So that was about 750 milliliters of water. And the way I've been making this, since I've tested it out quite a lot, this recipe, make sure I got it right. I've been, for every, say, kilo of chicken that you got, you just add about 750 to 800 milliliters.
Okay, looks like we are on Chit Chat, so that's good news.
Oh,
that problem's
finally,
fixed.
finally.
So thank you for that, telling me. Don't know
Great.
who.
So I'm going to bring this right up to a boil and check my pan over here. Let's see. That's feeling like it's supposed to. So what this over here, what this is doing, is we got this dough which is not allowing any steam to escape. So it's just steaming in there, but just staying right inside the pan. So it's kind of like a pressure cooker almost. It's just cooking, but nothing's coming out. So it's gonna just cook that, steam that rice, because I'll tell you a little bit more about the rice once I get the chicken in this
Sorry,
pan.
Rick is just asking, was it water or stock that was added? I know you've got to add
That
the
was
chicken.
stock. That was
Yes,
chicken stock.
Chicken
Now you
stock,
don't have to use chicken stock. I made chicken stock because I had some chicken bones. I've made it with water, and because all this chicken here is on the bone, you still get a very nice flavor and stock from it. So I'm just gonna stir those around a bit, and I want to bring this to a simmer. And it's not simmering yet, but I want to get that up to a simmer. Maybe I'll put this lid on for a second. We'll go over to the other camera. I want that to come up to a really hot, nice simmer, so it's cooking those potatoes, because the potatoes take longer to cook than the chicken does, of course. And the chicken we're not going to even be cooking all the way through, because we want it to be able to steam like that other pan over there for a good 25 minutes, just to really just bring those flavors into the rice. So I'm gonna just double check that. It's coming up to a bubble now, and when it comes to a bubble, I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken to it, and we'll just let that simmer until that chicken's done. And may as well bring out my rice, which I've done already. So I cooked this rice just before we went live. So you have to be careful with rice. You don't want it sitting out for a long time. And so I went ahead and made this. Now what I did is, and I've got these here, I got a couple of cassia leaves, so Indian bay leaves, piece of cinnamon, about a teaspoon of peppercorns, and a star anise. And what I did is I just took 4 liters, and like I say, this is all written down on my blog, and there's a link to it as well. But I took 4 liters of water, I brought those to a boil, and then I added my rice, which I'd already washed. So I washed it for a good, well, about 3 or 4 changes of water. So, because the first time you take take it and put any water in it, it turns all milky because of all the starch that's on the rice. So I just swirled that around, got it out, did that about 3 or 4 times until the water ran pretty much clean. See how this is doing over here. You don't even need to change the camera because I'm just going to go ahead and add this chicken now.
Yeah, it is a whole chicken. Julie was asking, is it
one whole chicken?
Thighs?
Now, do you know what? You could use thighs because you know I like using a whole chicken because I get the extra bones and I can make a stock with it. But like I said, you don't have to have a stock, and there's a lot more flavor. So I mean, using a whole chicken, you're getting a lot of the breast meat, and though it's prettier than the thigh, it doesn't have as much flavor. There's a little bit more fat in the thigh. So if you wanted to just take about the equivalent of a chicken and use skinless bone-in chicken thighs, you could do that. So anyway, I took my water, which was had all these different spices in it. There's a couple of them right there. Had the spices in there, and I threw all the rice in. And I let that cook for 5 minutes, so not very long. 5 minutes was all it took. So holding this rice, I mean, it's a little bit too crunchy to enjoy. Let's just say it's not cooked through yet. It's just kind of half cooked. And I took it out immediately after 5 minutes. Now the first batch I took out because I had a spoon with some holes in it, whatever they call those.
Slotted spoon.
Slotted spoon. There you go. I had a slotted spoon and I took out the first amount after 5 minutes. And then over here, because it takes a little bit of time to get it all out, this is the rice that was in there for about another minute. And I'm going to put this down on the biryani first because it's a little bit more less cooked. And then I'm going to put this at the top of the biryani. So we got this cooking over here, and still, are we over on this? Can we go over here?
Go over.
So as you can see, I've got all this chicken just cooking away, and we really only need it. Sure
You've got 3 minutes until that rice is ready.
Okay.
I'm being the timer.
Yeah. You got your timer on your watch?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got this going, and see all that liquid? There's a lot of liquid. So when I start piling that rice in there, a lot of it's just going to fall right down into the sauce. And that's okay. We like that because it'll continue cooking, and as it cooks, all the moisture will go into the rice, and it's just going to become a really nice, almost just really moist. And I don't know if I've had some good biryanis, I've had some bad biryanis, and sometimes they're just really dry, and you have to throw a bunch of sauce on them and everything. At this stage, I'm going to tell you a little bit about sauce. Now, I'm going to be using for this because I love it a coriander sauce, a coriander and yogurt sauce. And I've got the recipe on my blog, but it's really, really simple. It's a couple of bunches of coriander, and I got a few chilies in there. So I put, I think, about 4 chilies in there. And I got a couple cloves of garlic. And I just blended that in a food processor. And then added a little bit of lime juice. Stirred that in with some yogurt until I had a nice smooth consistency like you see here.
Well, it's great, isn't it? Because if you don't like spice, you don't have to add it. So
exactly. You can leave it out. If you don't like the chilies, you can leave them out.
Or don't put any of the green sauce on at all.
Oh, I wouldn't do that, though.
Well, some people might not like any.
No, a lot of people like. I was going to say is a lot of people like to just have a sauce, and so you could make a little bit more sauce. You know, maybe have it go up to here, and just take some of this sauce out and just put it onto your biryani, and that would be really nice as well. Just to give it, just so it has a little bit more sauce than just rice. Okay, so this is looking really nice now. I'm going to turn it off for a second.
Stuart's asking, is the recipe available in the book?
It's not in this book. It's going to be in my next book. Not the Thai one, but the one after that. I'm working on it right now. So I really like some feedback. If you guys like this, if you do give it a try, I would appreciate it if you which was that was the old one. There we are. So I'm going to go ahead. If you give this a try, let me know. And I'm going to put all this first batch of rice in there. I'm just going to scatter it all over the top. As you can see, it's sinking into the through the liquid. And then over that, I'm going to add some mint leaves. About half of these onions, just going to go scattered all over there. They move all around anyway.
It's 25 too, so that rice will be done.
It's about done. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to turn that right down then. And then I've got some coriander. Now, this is when all the flavor goes into the rice. Right here, I've got milk, which I warmed up, just regular milk. I think it was medium fat milk, and I just infused it with some a nice big pinch of saffron. I'm just going to pour that all over there, and then a biryani would not be complete without a good few tablespoons of melted ghee. I'm just going to put
You
that
can
all
see
over
why
the
this is
rice.
going to be good.
Yes, it's really low in calories too.
We had it on Saturday and it was absolutely amazing.
I'm going to put that back on because we need to start heating that up. Oh, actually, I probably better not do that. I better wait a bit. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put the next load of rice, if I could find a spoon here. This is going to go right over the top of this.
So Mark's asking what sort of rice we use, and we always get the most expensive.
Yeah, we use it for
Just
a
makes a big
biryani
difference.
because it is a party dish and it has
most
to be
expensive
rice.
basmati.
I use VT premium rice. So you can see the grains are nice and long.
It does
there.
make a difference, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it makes all the difference in the world. And to that, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of this coriander. And the rest of this mint. So we're just repeating what we already did. And then I've got these onions I'm going to throw on there. So remember, we put half the onions in the biryani itself. This is all going to get stirred up in the end. And what am I forgetting? Oh yeah, we need some more ghee. So we're just going to put some ghee over that. So 3 tablespoons of melted ghee. Now we're almost done. I'm going to go ahead. I've taken, like I said, some flour. This is already a bit difficult to work with. Great. That's okay. Got some flour here. Some dough. I'm going to go ahead and try to put it right around the top of it. And this is, like I say, going to make a seal so that see, I don't know if you can see this other one over here. But,
Yes,
no
we can see the
steam is
sides of
getting
it,
through.
yeah.
Yeah, but no steam is getting through at all. Go ahead and turn that off.
Stuart's saying he's never used ghee. Where's the best place to get it? All Asian shops
All
sell
Asian
it.
shops
I
have
think
it.
even some of the big supermarkets.
I've seen it at
Yeah,
supermarkets
yeah.
as well. All right, so I've got that all on there. Like I say, we're not eating this. We're not eating the dough, but it just helps ensure that all the steam stays in. And I'm just gonna stick that right down on there. Maybe put some of it up around the sides. There we are. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'll start now. And I want to cook this, I don't know if you could watch the time there. I want
Right.
to cook this for about 5 minutes on a very high heat. So it's already quite hot. A bit worried about this one because it wasn't really hot when we started, but hopefully it's
Hopefully
going
it's
to be different.
worked.
Because there's no way of
You
there's
don't
no
know
way of
until you take the
looking
lid off.
inside. There's no way of looking inside. But you've got to make sure that is boiling away right down there at the bottom. and then you put it on the lowest flame you can. So you boil it for 5 minutes, and then you put it on a very low flame for about 25 minutes just to continue cooking. I just don't trust this other one because it doesn't feel that hot. I hope so. We'll see. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, we'll have to keep cooking it.
It's a bit of a gamble making biryani live.
Yeah, it is a very big gamble, yeah. But so far we've been quite lucky. So do you know what I don't have, Caroline, is a plate. I'm going to bring a plate down. Do you want to just grab a plate real quick over there?
Do you want to be on the main camera for a
Huh?
bit? Do you want to be on the main camera for a bit?
Yeah, go ahead and put me
Okay,
on the main
you are
camera.
on the main camera.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and...
And I know there was a question
Yeah.
about using lamb instead, so...
Yes, I'm glad you asked because I forgot to answer. So yes, the answer is yes, yes, yes. If you want to do this same recipe for lamb, you can definitely do that. And I would recommend if you're doing it with lamb, I mean, you saw it, the liquid was up about halfway up the pan, and you want to keep it that way. So you might need to add a little bit more water during its cooking because it takes a while to become nice and soft and tender. Yeah, just go ahead and, you're going to be on camera here a second. There you go. Okay, now let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put this over onto another pan. And let's see how this has come out.
Do you want everyone to see when you take the lid off?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Watch it all be cold or something. The problem with biryanis is you really just don't know. You can look at them and you can think, okay, that's right, and then all of a sudden, but I've really never had anything go wrong with these. Let's see if it's happening there. Yeah, that's looking good.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so that's going to look really good. Let's see here. And I'm just going to start stirring this from the bottom. Look at that. Perfect. This recipe has never failed me. Never, ever, ever.
Mark says he's not sure if he's watching it live. You are, Mark. We are
You
live.
are. We're live. We're live, Mark. All right, look at that. So you just have to take this dough off because you don't want to be eating that. I've got some of it in my pan there. But it doesn't really cause a problem. Get it out of there. You're just gonna mix it with that rice. And then you're gonna bring up from the bottom a couple pieces of chicken, the potato that was in there, which is just really nice and tender now. It's perfect. I just chopped into some. Look at it. I just love making these. I'm going to go ahead and put some of that onto a plate there.
Okay, that's been on 5 minutes now, on high.
Has it? Okay.
Yeah.
Better turn it down then. So that's going to cook now. The other one's going to cook for a while. I just want to bring that up there. Hopefully it's in focus. It doesn't look
Yes, it's fine. It's in
Is
focus.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Just look at these grains of rice. They're just absolutely perfect. They're cooked to perfection. So you really just want to follow those instructions because you don't want to have a bunch of mushy rice. That wouldn't be very nice. But this is looking just perfect. And so I got some chicken on there. I'm going to go ahead, scoop some of this coriander sauce over the top.
Ours is quite a spicy one, isn't it? It's got quite a few
Yeah,
chilies in.
yeah.
So.
There you go. Chicken biryani, and it was super, super easy. Like we saw how easy it was to make. It wasn't difficult at all. And that's how it's done in India a lot. This is called Dum Biryani. And if we can go over to the other camera.
Yeah, as Aileen says, it's a very favourite dish throughout the whole of India.
It is so.
I can tell why.
It is so good.
And so good for feeding loads of people, as you said earlier.
And the potatoes are just. So you only want to, like I said, you want to cook those potatoes to about 50% cooked through. I'm gonna put the lid back on because we're giving these away tonight. There we are. That's still cooking, yeah. So there you go. There you have it. This is I'm having another bite. This is so good.
Can't you wait?
No, I can't. Mm. Awesome. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please ask. Like I said, this is one that I'm going to be putting in my next, not the Thai book, but the next one after that. And I've cooked this quite a few times now, haven't I?
You've been practicing it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost your signature dish.
Practicing in lockdown, because I have another Dum Biryani in my purple book. As you probably, if you've got that, I got one with lamb, completely different recipe, and yeah, this is one I've just.
Julie's asking maybe a silly question. Could you thicken the biryani sauce with the chicken and serve on a bed of rice instead of mixing rice into it?
Well, that's what you'll get at a curry house, you see, because they'll make a base sauce up, and they'll make up some rice, just and they'll fry the rice, and they'll add some of the sauce. Even this kind of sauce, they could do that. Put some chicken in there, and that's how they get those biryanis done so quickly. Because the first time I learned how to make biryani this way, it was at a restaurant in Brick Lane, and they took me back there and back to the kitchen, and it was something that they only serve once every week on Mondays, and they don't even put it on their menu. They just tell, if you know about it, you can ask for it and you can get it. And because it is some effort. You have to do. I mean, their biryani was huge. It was just this big pot. But you have to do a lot of planning. Whereas at a curry house, they don't know how many people are going to order biryani. So you can make the sauce like I just did. Fry up some cold rice. You don't want to fry up warm rice because it'll fall apart. But you get some rice maybe that you made the day before. Fry that up in some oil. Put some sauce in there, some chicken, and you got yourself a biryani. But it's not the same because it's not like steamed inside that pot.
Lorraine asks, can you use any red chili powder?
Sorry?
Lorraine's asking, can you use any red chili powder?
Yes, use any you like. I use Kashmiri chili powder because it's readily available here. And just make sure that you're not using one that's too spicy, because I find Kashmiri chili powder to be not very spicy at all. And this isn't spicy. This is perfect. I find it not very spicy at all. But you might find some that are really spicy, and that might overtake the dish. So make sure you know what you're dealing with before you put a tablespoon and a half in, like I just did. And yeah, so that was it. We aren't here next Monday, but we will be.
And now you're coughing.
Yeah, chilly.
Right, let's get you off.
We will be back on Wednesday. So please watch. We'll be doing the papadums, which we were going to do.
You did say Monday, but it's going to be Wednesday
yeah,
instead.
it's going to be on next Monday.
No, it's next Wednesday.
No, sorry, next Wednesday. And we'll be making homemade papadums. You do need urad dal flour. You can get that at Indian restaurants.
Indian shops.
I'm
It's because you're about to choke.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not about to choke. No, but you can get.
Do you want me to finish it off?
No, but you can get that. You can get that at Asian grocers and also online. I couldn't find some on Monday, which is why we didn't do it.
I got it delivered from Amazon.
Yes, we got it on Amazon,
day,
and it came today. So we'll be definitely doing that next Wednesday, and maybe even showing a couple dips that will go with it. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Please ask if you have any questions below, and I'll be sure to answer those. And yeah, see you next week. Thank you.